Welcome, welcome. If you're just joining us, good afternoon, good evening, whatever the threshold is for us, wherever you are. So glad that you're here with us this evening. My name is Amanda Stigglebauer, and I am the project manager for SD Economics and also a classroom teacher at Blythewood High School, teaching AP Microeconomics and Human Geography. It is my pleasure this evening to introduce one of our South Carolina Financial Literacy Master teachers, a true rock star, Denise Harrell. So Denise, I'm going to turn the show over to you. The show is yours, and you guys have a lovely time. We already have a shout out. You truly rock. You have a fan club here.
It's just because I pushed her into being one herself. That's what it is. All right. Good evening, everyone. And thank you for joining me this evening to give y'all some resources and tell y'all how I teach middle school and some of the harebrained crazy stuff that I do in my classroom that can help your kids not only in the future, but currently. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you all, so I can share my presentation. And we're going to bounce around through a couple websites that I'm going to share with you. Can everyone give me a thumbs up that you can see my screen? Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Let me get this over here and go into presenter mode. All right, so a little bit about myself. My name is Denise Harrell. I work at DuBose Middle School here in Summerville, South Carolina. I actually started my financial literacy teaching path at an alternative program here in Summerville. My principal always knows if I say I have a harebrained idea, he probably should run. So my biggest harebrained idea, and one of my things that I'm proud about just recently, is my middle school is one of 5 in the entire nation to take the WISE financial literacy test. This is a high school, typically a high school test that a lot of schools in the North and Midwest and also in California have their students take to graduate high school to show basic financial literacy. It's a huge deal. So I was super excited to be able to do that. I did receive a grant for the test. For the cost of the test, they give you a lot of supporting materials, and it is quite the adventure for you and your students. And I can tell you more about it later and how to prepare for it as well. Something I love besides teaching is giving financial literacy professional development. I truly enjoy it. I enjoy doing it one-on-one. I also enjoy doing it as a group. I recently went to Myrtle Beach and presented to a lot of principals around the state about incorporating financial literacy into their schools. We're going to explore one of the first resources I use, and it's NGPF. Has anybody here used NGPF prior? Perfect. We get a whole bunch. Hold on, let me get out of presenters mode real quick. Well, before I do NGPF, I got to show y'all this video. I love this video. How many of y'all are middle school teachers or have taught middle school, right? I love this video. Can y'all hear it? Hold on, let me reshare. Hold on, let me reshare. I have the audio sharing. Let me try again. All right, let's try again.
This man right here is my great grandfather. He's the first cat herder in our family.
Herding cats. Don't let anybody tell you it's easy.
Anybody can herd cattle. Holding together 10,000 half-wild short hairs, well, that's another thing altogether.
Being a cat herder is probably about the toughest thing I think I've ever done.
I got this one this morning, right here, and if you look at his face, it's just ripped to shreds, you know?
You see the movies, you hear the stories, I'm living a dream. Not everyone can do what we do.
I wouldn't do nothing else.
It ain't an easy job, but when you bring a herd into town and you ain't lost a one of them, ain't a feeling like it in the world.
All right, so if any of y'all know, teaching at any level is actually like herding cats. not gonna lie. And in order to be able to herd these cats, we have to be able to keep these kids engaged. We have to be able to have creative lessons, interactive lessons. So one of the resources I use is NGPF. Is anyone familiar with NGPF? Give me a thumbs up or a high five. Awesome. All right, so NGPF has a lot of great new features that I find personally wonderful. So some of the new stuff has to do with the curriculum. There is something called Nearpod. Now, when I teach middle school, I do a mix between the middle school and the full year course. And that's the great thing about NGPF. It's customizable. You have all the answers at your fingertips, so no need to try to create an answer key. But there's the middle school course, and let's get it to come up. There we go. And if it's acting slow. So right here, these are all the units. I always start out with behavioral finance, just because I love teaching the students about the paradox of value and having them start to think about that before we go into learning about budgets and consumer skills and credit and savings. And where here it does not necessarily have the tax unit, I teach the tax unit as well, but I use it out of the full year course. So this is a great thing about it. It is customizable. If you are not able to teach it as a standalone course, you can use it as a seminar course. You can use it as an enrichment course. I know several middle schools I've worked at, they have enrichment. They also have this neat, if any of y'all are financial literacy teachers or getting ready to do it, the Master Financial Literacy Program, this is new right here, the financial algebra course. So if any of y'all like to integrate cross-curricular as well, or you're a math teacher, here's some units that you can use to teach it from a cross-curricular. So there's the lesson guide. How many of y'all love to spend hours writing your lesson plans, right? We all love that. I just print out the lesson guide and I slap it on my door, because that is your lesson plan. It gives everything for admin to come in and see. My neatest thing now is I like to create a QR code. Let's see if they actually use it or they just ignore it. Arcades. How many of y'all's kids love arcades? So if it comes up, I don't know why my computer's being so slow. These are the arcade games that the kids can play. And I usually do them as an introductory to each unit and then as a closing to each unit, so that the kids reflect on what they changed in their answers. When it comes to investing, we do stacks. Now for budgeting, there is a series called Spent. It's a documentary, Spent Looking for Change. We often watch that documentary and there's a Q&A that I have with it. And then they play the Spent game. And my students, it's a huge eye-opener to them, because they think everybody who is poor because they can't do. They don't realize life situations happen. So it opens up a whole lot of sharing, especially with COVID right now. I had a lot of students last year share a lot of personal stories. And then the next thing my kids like are Uber. So the students that can actually make it through the Uber game and be able to afford life get to afford to buy candy. So they get candy at the end of it to take it serious. So they love the games. And this is a new one right here. I have played it, but my students haven't. I actually think it's a really cool game. It's called Terms and Conditions, and it has to do with identity theft, protecting yourself. It actually really is a cool game, because how many of y'all, I mean, I know my husband's with the VA, we get letters, your data has been compromised. This has been compromised. If you have any major health care plans, you probably had it. Here's a community. I don't know if any of y'all are part of the Finlit Fantastics. It's a Facebook group. We share a lot of information there and a lot of new things that we're doing. FinCap Friday. How many of y'all like to do fun Fridays or anything like that? The FinCap Fridays, everything here is just a one-stop shop. You have everything at your fingertips. You can pick checking, and each one will have something that is related to that subject area. And they're constantly updating it and just making things better. If you want professional development, there's professional development here, and often they offer incentives for their professional development. So that's always a bonus when you can make an extra $100. Why not? At least just my opinion. So the curriculum, they also have units. If you teach economics at all in your repertoire, your dossier, or if you have an economics teacher that you want to work with, there's behavioral economics that is really awesome. I actually just shared this with our social studies teacher, and then we have more mini units. So if you are just doing this as a seminar piece, maybe you want to look at alternatives to four-year colleges for students that don't want to go to college, or even for your own students. There's entrepreneurship, and this is the one I love to teach, ethics. So there are a lot of options where you can, if you're not a full-on financial literacy course, you can do it as a seminar or cross-curricular, or even just a session. It's just a matter of choosing what you want, and there's so much to choose from. So I'm sure you can see why I choose NGPF. They also have, right here, it's customizable, Nearpods. Have any of y'all used Nearpod before? NGPF, so everybody, it seems like NGPF has their own Nearpods that they have created that you can customize. Have y'all seen those yet? Okay, before I bore y'all to death with everything. It says it's paused. Is my screen paused? It look okay? Okay. All right, so Nearpod is interactive, it's engaging, it's easy to create one if you don't like them, or it's just not for you, that one. You can create your own. How many of y'all have used Bookit? My high school kids and middle school kids love it. So let me introduce you to the Bookit. Hold on one second. I don't know why. I'm used to Teams, by the way. So the Zoom is a little bit different. So let me move this up and bring up my Bookit. I'm going to invite y'all to play a Bookit game, but I can't see the top of my screen right now.
Denise, can you press escape?
That's what I'm doing. There we go. My computer's giving me a hard time. All right, can y'all see my Bookit screen?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So as I mentioned, the WISE test. This test can be given to both high school and middle school. They're just now reaching out to middle schools. You can get a grant to cover all the tests, and it's up for 3 tries on this test. Students get up to 3 tries. They give you all the resources. It is a secure test on a secure site. You do not have to do anything other than create your class list, and then they log in and take the test. If you are a financial literacy teacher, a master financial literacy teacher, you already took this test. It is the student version. So in Bookit, and I'm going to invite y'all to play with me so that you can see what it looks like. And like I said, my kids love this. They beg for it, actually. So this set I actually stole off of the WISE site. It's very easy. I'm not gonna lie. It's very easy to create these. You can export them from Quizlets, which Nearpod has some Quizlets, y'all, or not Nearpod, NGPF has some Quizlets. So you can export it easily into this. So what I'm going to do, I like Gold Quest because my kids actually get to steal from one another. And what better in financial literacy than to steal, right? So I'm just going to do a quick 2 minutes. I'm going the wrong way. And I'm going to share a link for you all. I'm going to turn that off though. Okay, I'm going to share the link in the chat. Let me get that in there. All right, so I have shared the book at chat. And if you want the direct link to the game, you don't want to enter in the, I just hit the wrong button. Here we go. And I'm going to let y'all experience Book It with Wise. So I'm inviting you to join just to see what the experience is like from your student side. And again, these are super easy to create if you don't like what is out there. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start. Now what you do is you answer questions and then you're going to select these chests and it will either give you gold, give you the opportunity to steal gold, and we'll go from there. See how many remember their information from their financial literacy test. It's okay, Anna. I'll give you more details if you would be interested. And usually I commentate and trash talk a little bit the kids because I know them, or they'll start trash talking each other. It's actually kind of fun. Oh, looks like DB is going to win. Erica's in second and Joyce is third. Awesome job. Y'all did so great. And again, Book It can be used in various different ways. It can be for game review. There's all types. I'm just going to show y'all the different games. There's various different games you can choose from. They come up with new releases all the time and the kids love it. Crypto hack, they have to guess each other's password. Tower defense, they have to tear down each other's towers. I'm not a huge cafe fan. It has to do with, I don't understand it, I'll be honest. Battle Royale, they go head to head on questions and it's like an elimination. Then they have factory. So there's all types that you can choose from, and there's even classic, to keep the kids engaged with the content. And I use it for my WISE review. I use it for there we go, taskbar from the top. I use it for WISE review. I use it for just about everything. I have my NGPF. This again is off of the NGPF side. I took it from their Quizlets and I transferred it over to Blookit. And then I have a budgeting one. So from there, we actually have a lot of fun with it. Would anybody be interested, because I don't want to bore you if you've already had Nearpod, would anybody be interested in seeing what Nearpod looks like from a student view? I can't get the video back. I'm going to stop sharing for a minute. So Joyce, you've used it, right? Yes, it has the treasure chest. The head-to-head, it looks like a battle royale. You'll see a leaderboard and it'll say Denise versus Amanda on your screen. And then it's head-to-head and I'll show you why you lost that match, which is kind of fun to see. My kids really get into it and they beg a lot for the gold quest and the head-to-head, which, I mean, hey, that's great, right? If they're begging for it. We do this every Friday with our content to gamify the WISE content. Last year, I had over 24 students out of 30 that took the WISE test, because at middle school, I can't make it mandatory. So I had 30 decide they want to take it. I had 24 pass. I had one pass with a 98%. I almost fell out my chair. They get you can print up their scores. And because we're in middle school, I have admin write a letter, because you have to lie. They know you're lying. Ethan knows I'm lying. I have to say my kids are in high school because they don't have a middle school option yet. And they get a letter on a letter from the principal stating that they took it in middle school. And my kids are so proud of themselves at the end of the course. We also had one student win the Color the Contest challenge last year, Color the Concept. She was one of the 12 winners. So she was so excited about that. Since everybody is aware of Nearpod, I'm not going to bore you to death with Nearpod, because I know that's kind of daunting in any aspect. Now this right here, I'm going to put the link in chat for you, because I'd love to give y'all something to walk away with and use. This is a list to all my resources, every single one that I have, and I'm going to show them to you so that you will have this magical list at your fingertips. If I can get it to open for me. There we go. And skip verification. All right, y'all ready for my magical list? This is my magical list of everything that I have at my fingertips. So here's NGPF. It tells you exactly what it is, what it does. It tells you, here's another resource I use to Take Charge Today. Has anybody else used Take Charge Today yet? So it's very similar to NGPF. It does have a lot of resources. It doesn't have quite the amount of resources as NGPF, but it has a good tax unit as well.
Denise, can you reshare your screen? We're still on the game.
I am so sorry.
It's okay.
All right, let's see how it goes. Better?
Yes.
Okay. Sherry, did I lose you? I'm sorry. No, you're good. There's Foolproof Me.
You're fine. Thank you. I just can't get to the link. And I can see it now, but I just can't get to the link. Like I clicked on it, but it's taking me elsewhere, but it's okay.
If you need me to, I can personally send it to you. Just let me know.
That's right. Thank you.
Financial football. How many of y'all have ever used financial football? Yes, financial football is awesome. However, there's a lot of people that do not know the website itself also has elementary resources for elementary school teachers to use as well. Same thing with Teach Bonsai. I think it dropped off of here. I did not put it on here. I am such a slacker for y'all. I'm so sorry. There's Teach Bonsai as well. It's supposed to be on here, so I'm not sure what happened to it, but it is everything from elementary school to high school level, and they did just update it. So
Miss Carol, I'm
Yes.
sorry. Which one is elementary?
Teach Bonsai has an elementary option.
Can you scroll up or scroll down to that so I can see it on the screen?
It is not on this one, but let me add it in
Okay.
the chat. Let me pull it up because I know I can pull it up easy. And I will be honest, I use Teach Bonsai for my special education kids because I do receive students that need different levels of instructions. And NGPF is great, but if they have limited ability, I usually put them on Teach Bonsai so that they are still gaining some information. It just may not be at the same level as NGPF because I get a lot of self-contained students in my classes. So this is my entire list of resources that you are welcome to use, alter. I have even more for business and CTE that I am happy to share. I have like a huge list. I just didn't want to overwhelm y'all. So do we have any high school teachers in here today? So if you're using high school, I would highly recommend NGPF, the Take Charge Today. EverFi, they can get work-based credits for if you do that in your district. And they learn about financial literacy, Ed Puzzles. So this is like a whole master list for y'all. And I have more if you need anything.
Denise, would you mind sharing that link again?
Absolutely. Let me go back to my presentation. And if it doesn't share it this way well, I'll share it another way. All right, so I have it in the chat. And again, if I need to share it a different way, I can. I need to open it back up on my end. I think it went away. Oh, there we go. So high school, you have the CTE online. I want to make sure I differentiate for y'all. NGPF, budget challenge, and stock market. Most of your high school is middle school as well. Every dollar, that is more of if you want them to create a budget. So you can give them fake information, false information, and have them create a budget. And then the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. And of course, down here, we also have Federal Reserves. And since you all are in South Carolina, JA Inspired, has anybody used those before? They're very good, and they have a great speaker series. So if you cannot bring speakers into your school because of COVID, it would be a great speaker series to go along with NGPF, and you can kind of mirror your units to the speaker series. So if you're doing entrepreneurship, they have entrepreneurs, they have insurance, they have financial services. So they have great speaker series where they are live or can be recorded, and you can show them to your class and kind of mirror it with your programs. And back to my presentation. So I want to go over anything that y'all want me to go a deeper dive into, because I know I did an overview, but I want to know what you need a deeper dive into before we end today's meeting, so we can kind of give you a better oversight of what you plan on using not just what I am. So does anybody have anything they would like to do a deeper dive into? Okay, so the Teach Bonsai. So let me show you that. And again, I have used it plenty of times and I love it with, again, I use it with my self-contained students that come to my class. So let me log in and show you what it looks like. Super easy to, it's free, just so you know, it is free. So these are different curriculums they have, and it is online. So they have the Bonsai Junior, which is what I use with my students that are self-contained. And it's a lemonade stand. And this is what they learn about: emergencies, IOUs, interest, fees, making payments, but it is at a lower level. And then we have Bonsai Teen, 13 to 18. And this is basic financial decisions that they have to make. One of the decisions in here is the young gentleman needs a new pair of shoes, but he really doesn't have the money. So he has to make these decisions in order to come up with the money. And the game does change a little bit depending on what their answers are. So talks about setting goals. So this unit right here talks about buying a car, how to buy a car, talking about the anticipated cost, everything that you need to take into factor when you're doing that. And this is everything that is covered. And then we have Bonsai Plus. So you feasibly could take students completely through. The teacher resources are great. Let me pull it up. If I can get it to pull up. No, it's acting up on me. Let's see if I pull it up this way, if it'll do better. So this is your elementary school. Erica, you're one of the elementaries. If you want to take a test run, if you log into Bonsai, that is the login. But you can download booklets for them. You can also order them. Depending on if you have someone close to you, they'll send them to you. Or you can just print them. So you would go right here. There's an interactive library, letters to parents. Here's your teacher guides and your lesson plans right here. Life scenario guides, and it gives you speaking points. Very much like NGPF, but it's really great with the younger kids. There's a junior workbook. This is where you can just download the workbook yourself for your students to work through as they work through the units. So here's everything that they have to offer, and it's under your toolkit. So those, and the reason why I wanted to show this is last time I gave a professional development. I got, how do I put it? I'm not gonna say ding because it wasn't meant. The elementary school teachers didn't walk away with anything. They felt like they walked away empty-handed. So it was sad that they didn't walk away with anything that they could use. And my main goal when you come here is that you can walk away with one thing that you can use tomorrow, not only to get your $100, let's be real, but that you can physically use. So that is my big picture for you, is to walk away with useful stuff no matter what level you're at. Now, I know I did see a question, and I'm trying to see.
Miss Denise, Kurt and I were just chatting in the comments. We were asking, like, what were some of the topics that would be focused on with the speaker series that you were discussing?
Let me pull up my JA Inspired for you. And I will show you what their speaker series is this year. Now, it does change up a little bit each year. And hopefully y'all can still see my.
No, we're seeing your spreadsheet again, Denise.
Oh,
I'm
I'm telling you,
I know Zoom is like that.
I am a Teams wizard. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. If you put me in Teams, I have you. So when you go into JA Inspire, you would go to programs, and then you're gonna select. So are you in Kurt high school level or middle school?
High school level.
Here we go.
I'm high school as well.
Perfect. So here's some stuff from high school. And I actually just told our guidance counselors about all this because they did not know about it. So here's the speaker series this year. And let's see if they have them all listed yet. Okay, they do not have them listed this time. All right, so last year when we did it, I'll tell you some of the ones that joined us. We had a finance corporation join us. They did financial planning. And you can sign up for which ones you want. I had an insurance agent that owned their own insurance company. We had a bank loan manager speak to us. And they talked about home mortgages, car loans, you know, what to look out for when it comes to percentage rate. My students, you know, really enjoyed that one because they all want to own their own homes one day. And then I had one individual speak about, they were a college financial advisor, not advisor, counselor. And they spoke about student loans. So those are the ones we had the opportunity to do. We also attended the virtual career fair. So what the virtual career fair is, the students, you have a few days ahead of time to prepare them, and they have access to the website and they can start exploring different careers. A lot of the careers are entrepreneurship, banking, there's some CTE careers that they can explore. And then the day of the career fair, it's live. So they actually get to interact with people and ask questions and see a day in their life. Some of them had video recordings of what a day in their life was like. So they do have a lot to offer, and it's free. So it's really, I mean, I like it. The speaker series can also go towards the credit hours that students need in regards to career exploration, at least here in Dorchester County. I can fill out a form. It goes to our guidance counselors and they get some credit towards your work base. So, and I love pairing it up with NGPF, with those NGPF units. It takes a little bit of prior planning. So when we spoke to the college financial advisor counselor, we talked about what student loans were. You know, what do we need to start preparing for, looking at scholarships, you know, the alternatives to it. So when they heard the speaker, they could honestly take in that information, and the speaker took it to the next level, to a more personal level. Did that answer your question, Stephanie?
Yes, that's actually was very good, even more than I wanted to know. So you gave me a lot to look at, and I'm gonna go research that. I appreciate it.
It's really good. I really like them. They usually have a series and they'll tell you, but if you need a certain speaker, and that's a great question, Megan, you can request a speaker through them and they will pair you up with somebody in your community. So they're a heavy resource for community connections. And then Sherry, did you have questions about Take Charge today?
Sorry, I've done mute. I was just not familiar with it. I just went to the site real quickly and registered, I guess, but I was not familiar with it. So I just didn't know if there's like a brief little bit you want to share maybe.
Absolutely. So Take Charge today is very similar to NGPF, and I'm going to show you the active account so that you can see. So let me stop screen sharing and come back so that you can share or see it. Where's that? Why is it not showing today? Hold on, let me stop. It's up. There it is. Let me click out of the other websites because it's trying to show the other websites. All right, so now I should be able to share just fine. All right, so. All right, thumbs up that you can see me, Sherry. Perfect. All right, so Take Charge today is University of Arizona. And they have workbooks. If you're a Google Classroom, it's very Google Classroom friendly. Here's the curriculum, what it looks like. I have used several of the simulations. This is the tax simulation. Last year, our district for a minute blocked some of the NGPF stuff because, you know, our tech supports are great. I'm just saying. So we were doing taxes. So, and the Take Charge came through. So that's what we used. And this is just like NGPF with the TurboTax. And they literally receive fake W-2s and they file taxes online. Now, y'all, if your group runs Go Guardian or any type of programs, let me give you this learning lesson that I had. If your group runs any type of program where you can see the student websites, please let your other teachers know that you're doing a tax simulation, because they kept clicking out of my students' websites thinking they were filing fake taxes, that they were trying to do tax fraud. I was like mind blown. I'm not going to lie. Because I was like, I'm not doing it. The kids were like, Miss Harrell, why are you clicking out of my screen? I'm like, I'm not. So there are, like I said, it's very similar to NGPF, but I do cross use them when it comes to some of the resources. So you would go into introductory level, lesson plans. And again, it's the same like NGPF. The lesson plans are written out for you. NGPF is gold, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. And Take Charge is gold too, because the lesson plans are there. And if you can't find something, you just email them and they'll tell you exactly where to find it. Or if you're looking for something just like with NGPF, the only thing with this one, unlike NGPF, there's not a lot of professional development. There is some, but not quite as much as NGPF. So it's not, I mean, again, there's a little bit. It's just not as up to date, I would say, as NGPF. But I do like this website as well. And then if y'all ever need a strict virtual program to where your kids have to be virtual 100% and you can't do that any type of curriculum really, or maybe you have home-based students that do not have access to the virtual classroom, but they do have access to the website. There are some resources out there as well that I can share with you. You just have to shoot me an email and I can send it to you. Because I had to last year, my virtual kids were year round. And then I had my semester based. So I had to take my virtual kids into a different direction after NGPF and do a virtual based for them the second half of the year. If that makes sense. Is there any other resource that is on my list or that I have mentioned that you would be interested in doing a little bit of a deeper dive into? So Kurt, you're totally virtual. Kurt, I am going to put my email and y'all can snag this sucker, anybody who wants to, and you can email me and I will send you all my strict virtual based programs that I have access to, and they're free. So Foolproof Me is one, and then there's one called Money Matters. It is 100% virtual. So if that is something that you need, then, you know, I do have some resources for that. And can y'all see it says direct message. I think I accidentally just sent it to Shannon alone. Sorry about that, Shannon. Let me resend it to everybody. Again, I am a Teams guru. Zoom, I have not used since the summer. All right, there we go. So that is my email address. And I am happy to support you all on a one-to-one basis, on a group basis, if you need PD for your school. I might snag Amanda to come help with the chat though, because she's really awesome at that. Anybody here interested in knowing about becoming a master financial literacy teacher in the process? Does anybody need that information? I know I snagged already one of y'all into the process. She might be wanting to throw a piece of pie in my face right now, but she'll be all right. She'll be all right. Anything else y'all need a deeper dive into? We're doing good. We're doing good on time. So no further questions? Yes, Stephanie, I love it too. And y'all, I mean, this is my 3rd year. I'm gold level. Yes, we do. I agree. This is my 3rd year. And even if you're not a master financial literacy teacher, if you need help giving a presentation to your school about cross-curricular or implementing it, you want your school to implement it, they're not there yet, I'm happy to share my presentations with you. And SE Economics has a whole bunch as well, if you're already a master financial literacy teacher. But I'm happy to share them with you because I'm incredibly passionate about every school having this available to them. If you're in high school and you use NGPF, do any of y'all know about the gold standard where your school can get $10,000? Are y'all aware that that can happen? Yes. If you are NGPF, a member of NGPF, and you, every year they choose schools and you get it implemented into your school through your district, your school or your district can earn up to $10,000. It's called a gold standard to help support those programs. And that's through NGPF. It's really great. I say boo that they don't have it yet for middle school, but that's okay. I've been emailing Tim now, so it's all good. But you can earn up to $10,000. So it's a huge, I mean, it's a great program. And if you can earn some money, why not? It's called a gold standard school. So again, if I could do it, I would. But that's okay. I beg for money in other ways. You're welcome, Anna. So Amanda has a link she's going to share with you to prove that you were here tonight for the $100. And I really appreciate her help in the chat. This is your link. And I'm sorry I went through things a little bit fast, but I want to make sure we could do a deeper dive if y'all needed it in whatever specific area you were more inquisitive about, rather than just throwing one thing at you and saying, this is what you get. So
Denise, it was wonderful. You shared so many other resources. And just as an aside, would you shoot me an email with that file? I don't know if it's my book, I can't access it. But in our follow-up email that I'll send to everyone who's in attendance, I'll put that spreadsheet that you listed as an attachment. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. I hope y'all enjoyed it. If you have any follow-up questions about any of the websites, I've used all of them over the past few years, and I could tell you all the ins and outs. Each one could be its own hour. And that's why I want to make sure I asked y'all specifically what you wanted to know about, because again, I want you to walk away with what you need, not necessarily what I think you need. So that's why I throw it all at you and you tell me what you want. That's kind of like,
we see what sticks, right?
Exactly. You know, like Stephanie walks away with the speaker series, you know, Sherry a little bit more with the take charge, Erica with the bonsai for the younger kids. Because again, last time my poor elementary school teachers did not walk away with anything that they could really use. And that really kind of bothered me. And I want to make sure I taught to all levels and gave y'all resources at all levels so that you could implement financial literacy in your school just like you want to, and not trying to adapt something that's made for middle or high school down to 5th and 4th graders.
Absolutely. And so as Denise mentioned, the link to the evaluation is in the chat box. I'm going to go ahead and paste that one more time just in case you guys missed it. This just gives us some feedback on the presentation from tonight, but also especially what can we do as your premier nonprofit supporting financial literacy and economic education? What can we do to continue to support you as teachers? We certainly appreciate Denise and you guys coming tonight. We appreciate everything you do for our students. As I said earlier, I'm a classroom teacher and this year has been special. It's been special in many ways. Certainly to see our kids and be back with people, but you know, I think a lot of us have a hard time keeping our head above water, so that you guys were able to sign on at 6 o'clock around dinner time and commit yourself to more learning says a lot about you. And we are very thankful for you.
And some people are still at work, Stephanie.
I know.
She's
So for
pulling
those
an
of you who
all-nighter.
I'm sorry, Denise.
Oh, sorry.
She probably has that cot there, right?
Yeah.
But for those of you who learned something that you would be interested in sharing with your classes, any presentation that is conducted by a financial literacy master teacher like Denise provides us with the opportunity to incentivize you guys as teachers to share that lesson with your students, get some feedback. No, Cod, I refuse. Take some pictures of what the students have done and samples of student work. This can be from some of the next gen games. I know we love to play those in my class. My kids love those. The take charge, whatever kind of tickles your fancy, to just show that what we are doing is really making a difference. And I think this past almost 3 years have been incredible in the growth of the push for financial literacy in our state. So thank you so much. And then what I'll tell you guys is there will be a follow-up email that will have the form that you guys will complete with a collection of evidence from your students if you're interested in that $100 incentive to teach your financial literacy lesson. Stick around if you have questions. We have lots of thank yous going on. A thank you waterfall, if you will.
Thank you everyone for attending.
Denise, you did a fabulous job as always.